So if you're looking to move to New Haven, most likely you're coming to the city for Yale University. And you'll notice as I go through the map, there's a lot about New Haven that centralizes around Yale University. So first I want to show you where Route 91 and 95 converge and come into downtown. So this is the Oak Street connector. Both highways merge onto the Oak Street connector, come off onto North Frontage Road. So now you're venturing into the city. And one of the first things you'll see is the town green, the New Haven green. So this is where we are right now. This is the New Haven green. Interestingly enough, the New Haven green is one of the few greens across the US that is not owned by the city. There is a separate proprietorship of proprietors of the green who it's a privately owned green, which is maintained by the city, but it's a really unique place where they have concerts during the summer. They have a lot of activities, the New Haven Road Race, and a lot of central features. Now, one of the nice things about the green is that a couple blocks around it, you have hundreds of restaurants. So you have every single type of restaurant you could possibly imagine, including a little ways down, you have all of our famous pizza places. You have Sally's Pizza, Pepe's Pizza, and then a little further up State Street, you have Modern Pizza, which makes the list of 3 of the top pizza places in the whole US. So New Haven as a whole is a great place for food. You have Louis Lunch, which is the first place that they made hamburgers. You have great vegetarian restaurants such as Claire's. So around the New Haven Green, you'll also notice other areas. So all these areas right here, these are all Yale-owned properties. So you have Broadway where the Apple Store is. These are all buildings owned by Yale University. So Yale University is really tied in with deep roots in New Haven. So a lot of downtown, you do have some condos, but a lot of what you have downtown for living space are apartment buildings. Over the past couple of years, you've had a tremendous growth of apartment buildings downtown New Haven. So as I said, there are some condo complexes right in downtown on Orange Street, on Church Street, but the majority of what you'll find downtown itself are luxury apartment buildings. So if you go up a little further, you come to Whitney Avenue. And this is where downtown, it's still considered downtown, Bradley Street, Eld Street, Trumbull Street, but you will start finding single family houses and multi-family houses. Parking is a little tough in this neighborhood. You have a lot of on-street parking, you have very little off-street parking, but again, you're so tied into downtown New Haven where you have all your restaurants and shoppings and little markets that having a car isn't really necessary. One of the things I'll take you back a little bit later is you have the Union Station, you have the train station that takes you right into New York right from here. So if you go up, you start going into the East Rock section of New Haven. So I'm going to turn on the satellite view here and show you a little bit closer. You have 2 different sections of East Rock. You have the one side of Whitney Avenue, you have a lot more multifamily houses and single family houses, but you'll see that the properties are a lot closer together. So Linden Street, Avon Street, very, very lovely areas, but it's more of a community feel. Whereas the opposite side of Whitney Avenue, you have properties that are much more spacious and like Autumn Street, Ogden Street, St. Ronan Street, where you have much larger yards. And of course, you have much higher taxes and also purchase prices. So just from a Google Maps view, you'll be able to see just the expansiveness of some of these properties in the yards compared to the opposite side of Whitney Avenue. And again, being that there's a lot of multifamily houses, you do have a very, very extremely strong rental population in East Rock. So that's one of the really nice things. If you're coming to the area just for a couple years, you may want to rent downtown, rent in East Rock. Again, you're close to everything. You have great public transportation, buses, walking to everything. You have little markets all over the place. So it's a very, very good community for rental population if you're just looking for to stay for a couple years. If you're looking for a longer term investment, East Rock is known to keep their property values. As I said, the taxes are a lot higher in East Rock than say Westville, but you also have even during the recession, you did not really see that hit to the market as you had in a lot of other sections of the state. So now I'm going to take you back down. So if you go further north in Whitney Avenue, I'm going to do another video on places in Hamden. So a lot of people say we want to move to New Haven, but what they end up doing is purchasing in Whitneyville, in Spring Glen, which are technically in Hamden, but for instance, I used to live in Whitneyville. It's exactly 3 miles to the New Haven Green. So again, you could bike to work, you could take the bus, you could drive, and there's plenty of parking in New Haven. So you have some different options for communities that tie into Yale and to New Haven as a whole. So a lot of people say, I want to move to New Haven, but they end up purchasing in different towns altogether. In addition to Yale University, you also have you have Albertus Magnus College right here on Prospect Street in New Haven. So if you go back down to the green, now you come across, and you could take Chapel Street across, and you end up in, if I find Chapel Street back here, you end up in Westville. So Westville is another neighborhood in New Haven. This is where all the Yale sports fields are. The Yale Bowl, which is the football stadium. You have the New Haven Tennis Center. You have the polo fields over here right off of Route 34, which is Derby Avenue. Westville is a really nice neighborhood in New Haven. You have streets like McKinley Ave, which are very sought after. And again, you have different areas. You see here at McKinley Avenue, you have bigger backyards, further space between the properties. Whereas if you come over here to Alden Avenue, it's a little tighter together. And again, these are all houses probably built, I'd say 1910, 1920. So a little bit older of a style house, colonials and multifamilies. A lot of these are very, very well maintained. They have a lot of character, a lot of charm to them. So it's all really what you're looking for. And again, this age and this vintage is very similar to East Rock. So this is Forest Road. This is a main road that takes you from Route 34 all the way up to Fountain Street. Once you cross Forest Road, you're still in Westville, but this is the upper Westville area. These homes, a lot of them were a little bit newer, but newer in New Haven terms is still 1950s, that vintage. So newer than 1920, 1910, but still, if you're moving from different areas of the country, you know, a lot of the population of Connecticut was built between 1900 and 1950. So we have people who come to us and say, hey, you know, I want a newer construction. Well, in Connecticut, newer construction is still 1960, 1970, 1980 is considered sometimes new construction. So what you'll mainly find here is 1950s, 1960s. I'll switch over to the satellite view. Again, you have still sidewalk neighborhoods. You have a little bit more space between the properties. Here, though, instead of colonials and multifamily houses, you'll have a lot of colonials still. You have ranches, you have Cape-style houses. And again, over here, you have the Hopkins School. So this is a private school, not Yale related, but very sought after. They have a boarding program, so students live on the Hopkins campus as well. The Yale golf course is over here as well in this part of Westville. So very scenic area. You have deer walking around, not necessarily in the neighborhood itself, but some of the, like Stevenson Road, you'll have deer walking around the neighborhood. So it's a little bit more scenic, a little bit not country by any means. You're still looking at like 1/10 of an acre to 1/4 acre land. So more of a neighborhood setting, but a little bit more spread out and not as city related. So those are 3 different areas: downtown, East Rock, and Westville that I focused in this video. We'll be happy to help you in any section of New Haven. You have Lighthouse Point, which is on the opposite side of the Q Bridge. We're not focusing on that because we find people who want to live in New Haven, who want to move to New Haven for Yale, they kind of want to be on this side of the Q Bridge, because the Q Bridge, if you Google that, you'll see that it's a very, you have a lot of traffic, you have a lot of accidents on it. So that's where a lot of the congestion on Route 95 is. So what we find is a lot of people say, we want to be on this side of the Q Bridge near Yale, downtown New Haven. So we're not going to necessarily focus on the other outskirts of New Haven. Very, very lovely communities. If you want to have more information about that, please let us know, and we'll be more than happy to share some information. We'll do a separate video on like Lighthouse Park on Fairhaven. We'll do separate videos on those sections in New Haven as well. But this video, we really want to show you all the areas around New Haven that are Yale focused. Also, in another video, we're going to have Hamden, we'll have Woodbridge, we'll have Orange. Those are all communities that people who say, I want to move to New Haven, end up looking in as well, because depending on your needs, you know, you want to be close to Yale, but you also want different community feels. So depending on where you're coming from and what you're looking to move into, there are literally tons of choices of different neighborhoods that we could help you locate and give you pointers on what's an appropriate area for your lifestyle. So thank you very much for watching this. And until next time, please remember to hit that subscribe button and that bell to notify when we release new videos. Have a great day.